Well, good morning once again, folks. And just a little update. Hey, it's summer, so some of you, we haven't seen each other. Some have been away for a little bit. Kathy and I just got back just a little while ago. We were away for, a couple weeks. We went out to Kelowna for a bit. We have a kind of an annual tradition with some friends. We went out on holiday with them, some people that we've been doing that for a long time. Then an amazing time in Kelowna. That was smoking hot out there, but water, so that makes it doable, right? Then we went out to Vancouver Island, spent some time with friends, actually, who are a part of our community, have moved out there, spent a little time with them. And then we spent some time with some extended family. And that was a big deal, actually. These people, beautiful kind of group of family, we haven't spent very much time with over the last number of years. This one couple, they have kids who are close in age to our kids. So when our kids were younger, we used to spend every summer together. And vacation as families, we were very tight. But something happened years ago. We got into some what I'll call spicy conversations. Probably by spicy, I mean contentious, where people began sharing their honest feelings about their own perspectives on life, about their beliefs in the spiritual arena. There was just a bunch of truth-telling in a couple of these sessions, and after it was all kind of said and done, well, it just didn't end well. I think there was things that were spoken that the other party wasn't ready to hear. There was this kind of powering up on both sides where it was kind of like, I'm seeing this the right way, and the way you're seeing it is not the right way. There was no screaming or yelling. It wasn't that kind of spicy conversation, but there were little things that were being said that you knew was cutting deep on either side. I remember walking away from that conversation, at least one of them, and feeling so disillusioned, hurt. That's the thing, it's one thing to get in an argument with someone you don't really care too much about. It's another thing when it's someone you love deeply. And you hear things that just, you can't unhear. And so then it starts replaying in your mind again and again. And what caused hurt just keeps hurting and stinging. When was the last time you had one of these kinds of spicy, difficult conversations? Maybe there was fear that got stirred up in the middle of it. Maybe there was some hurtful words. Maybe there was a sense of judgment that was levied toward you, or maybe in the process you felt you were entitled to feel judgmental toward them. Turns out that this here is a really common occurrence. Yeah, we're more polarized now in our society than we've ever been at any other time. It is easy, very easy, to find yourself in the middle of one of those conversations. And it's interesting because we don't talk a lot about these conversations. Like, how do you do them? They just so often go sideways. Interesting. In the book of James, the author is writing about these kinds of conversations that devolve, that go poorly. He's asking this question. He's saying, what the heck is causing the quarrels and the fights among you? Is it that they're coming from some kind of evil desire that's at war within you? Is that what's going on here? You want what you don't have, so you're scheming and you're killing to get it? Is it that you're jealous of what others have and you can't get it, so what? You fight, you wage war to somehow take it away from them? These are interesting ways of pitching this. One scholar is reading. He says it's almost like in these conversations you cross over from this healthy place of discussing difficult topics, perhaps, into quarrel land. When we try to change someone's mind or behavior because we want something. We need something. It's not for their benefit. It's something inside us that needs to win in the argument. He said we may want to win to look better than the other person or to showcase our intellectual superiority. He said we may want to crush someone in an argument because they dared to challenge our thinking and our belief. He said we may want or we may feel the need for their approval or support of our ideas. So we'll attempt to manipulate, to change theirs so that they will adopt ours and we will feel better because they are giving us a thumbs up. There's all these different reasons why we can engage in the conversation and cross the line into quarrel land. That's where bad things happen. Regardless of why we're quarreling, the outcomes of these unskillful, contentious conversations can be toxic. Very quickly, sides can get drawn. Ideas villainized. People villainized. And in the middle of it, all of a sudden, it's interesting how this can work, but that relationship can just in a flash of an eye get downgraded. You know what I mean? You can block, you can unfriend on social media, but we do that in person in real time. I remember at one point in one of those spicy conversations years ago, this person looked at me and said, "Jeff, I thought we were like this. And now I'm realizing we're like this." And I didn't know in that moment what exactly he was saying. I thought maybe he was just saying he thought we believed the same kinds of things. And now he's realizing actually we don't believe the same things. Or now we don't see the world the same way. What I didn't realize is that more than that, there was a downgrade going on. It was, we were once close, now we're not close. At that time, neither of our families would have guessed that a couple of those bad conversations, unskillful conversations, would lead to years of being apart, distant. It's amazing how subtly this can happen. And I'm betting you know what I'm talking about. One bad conversation and then you go the next week, I don't think I'm going to call that person. I know we normally chat. I know I could send off a text. I don't feel like it. And then 1 week turns into a month, then turns into 2 months, and now it's awkward, right? Now it's like, well, what do you say? And in our case, it stretched longer. And I'm telling you, I'm embarrassed admitting to this today. I remember one year, Kathy telling me that the whole family, the extended family, weren't going to be able to get together for Christmas. And I remember just going, whew, good. That's going to make life easier. In my mind, I had just concluded life would be so much easier if you weren't having to wrestle with negative or uninformed or closed-minded people. These are the judgments I had levied. I felt so justified. It's like, I don't need that. I need people who think like me. I want to be around like-minded people, people who are supporting my way of thinking and believing. I want to have to constantly be defending myself, worried that they're going to be thinking something about me. That's pretty normal to think that, isn't it? Don't look at me like I'm some evil person. Come on, admit it. You've probably thought these things too. Life would be so much easier. I was convinced in those moments, I think those family members, though they're extended, I think they can be replaced. That, I can't believe I'm admitting that, but in my mind I thought, yes, we have shared so many great times with them, but we can find other people to do those things with. Have you ever felt that way? We can find more deep, meaningful community with people who are more like-minded than them. A guy named Bill Bishop, he wrote a book called The Big Sort. This was years ago, 2009 he wrote it. It's a story of how we have geographically, politically, even spiritually sorted ourselves into different groups, like-minded groups, where we silence the dissent. We grow more extreme in our thinking, and we consume only facts that support our beliefs, making it easier to ignore evidence that perhaps our positions are wrong. This Bill Bishop would contend that we've been doing this in all kinds of ways in our society, building cocoons of homogenized thinking and believing. Bishop writes, as a result, we now live in a giant feedback loop, hearing our own thoughts about what's right and wrong, bounced back to us by the shows we watch, the podcasts we listen to, the books we read, the sermons we hear, even the neighborhoods we live in. It all becomes a reflection of what we want to hear. And to avoid the ongoing conversations, we can end up making a lot of assumptions about those that sit outside the cocoon. You can observe someone saying something in particular. I can watch someone like something on social media, and instantly my judgment starts happening. Oh, they're one of them. Done that? Mm-hmm. Of course you have. Oh, they like him? They listen to that? They vote that? I had no idea. And we allowed them in. It's remarkable how easy it is to other someone. To put them in a different category, to cancel them, downgrade them, thinking good riddance. Yeah, eventually we can find ourselves fighting for our values and beliefs from the safe distance of on separate islands of ideology and identity, listening intently to the echoes of our own voices. And taking an exaggerated offense to whatever is said about us, banishing entire lines of thought. I might sound smug up here, but folks, I have done all of this. So years pass by. We've seen this family maybe once a year, sometimes even less. Oh, we exchange the obligatory happy birthdays on social media and we comment on the odd post. But there's been distance. And over time, it's like every now and then we'd have an occasion to get together and we'd sit down across the table. And we'd have a conversation about something other than what we were fighting about years ago. And I'd have this moment into those people that I loved so much. And I realized, oh, geez, I miss that guy. And I realized I can't replace that guy. So over time, the hurt, the resentment, maybe all those painful memories, they've kind of faded, and then it turns to sadness. We got together with some of them, I don't know, maybe a year ago. It was around a funeral. That's when it gets real. And we heard about a diagnosis of one of the family members. And then it's like, holy shit, life is going by. And there's someone on the other side of the table that we have botched this conversation from way back. And now we've spent years apart. So, have you ever felt that? Where it's just like, what am I doing? What are we doing here? And it's just like, how do you... I know I underestimated how much I'd miss those people. Yeah. Let me find my way here. You give it enough time and you just begin to realize how hard it is sometimes to replace these people that you just kind of wrote off, downgraded. For a bunch of reasons. There's been this longing to find our way back. For me, it's when that starts happening, I've realized that I start second-guessing myself. Start thinking, why did I even do that conversation in the first place? Why did I open up and tell them the truth about what I was thinking and feeling? They're asking questions. I could have answered it a different way. I could have maybe hid what I was really thinking. I could have maybe fudged that a little bit. I knew then they wouldn't be upset. I could have answered a number of different ways, and then we would still all be together. But if you were here last week and you listened to Vince eloquently describe how there is an absolute need for us when things happen that are calling us to be honest about our emotions, whether it's anger and share what is really happening to us. We must be honest. I'm reminded of that. I was reading Brene Brown recently. She says a lot about having these brave conversations where you step in and you have to be honest with people about what's going on. It's the basis. She says, if you're looking for true belonging and connection with other people, you have to. You can't hide. You can't fudge it to avoid the difficult conversation. You need to be open. She said, true belonging never asks us to change who we are. True belonging asks us to be who we are. So as much as I second guess going back and going, man, if from now on I'm not going to be that honest. And this is what it starts. No. The experts would say, you can't shy away from those conversations. Maybe the question is, how can we do them more effectively? How can we sit with someone who sees things differently? And I'm telling you, we're heading into election year here. It's weird how U.S. politics affects so much of what we do. How much of the conversation is about a country we're not even living in? It's like we have any control over that. But man, people want to weigh in. I could list a whole bunch of different things. I'm watching these spicy conversations taking on all over the place. Shoot, you just mentioned water restriction ban and get people going. It's like, oh, you. Don't shy away from the spicy combination. Let's just learn how to do them better. Truth is, most of us haven't been taught how to do this. So I thought, for this morning, what better thing to do than to turn this woman loose? I forget her name now. Doesn't matter, but Celeste Headley. She offered up some incredible information and tips on how to have great conversations. I thought it was pure gold. So I'm going to turn her loose again. Check this out. It's pure gold. You know, we spent a week with extended family out on the island, and it was remarkable how bridges got mended. And there's still roped off areas that we haven't gone down. Still areas that we're treading lightly in. But it's amazing how if you can just keep some of this stuff, I'm not kidding anyone to think that these 10 rules will solve every spicy conversation. But boy, I tell you, the foundations for healthy communication are there. If we could just keep them in mind. You know, this morning when you go out, I want to give you the 10 tips. I don't know where you go, where your spicy conversations are most likely going to happen this week or this month. But wherever they might be likely, I want you to take this with you. I want this to be your cheat sheet on the front end of that conversation. You're going over to get together with someone, and you go, ooh, this has gone bad in the past. Let's just review. Maybe there's one of these or two of these that you notoriously have not heeded. Maybe this week would be the week. You're going, okay, I'm going to practice this one. I am not going to pontificate. Jarvis, you are going to be brief. There's about 5 of these I need to work on. My hope for you is that you will not shy away from the conversations, and that you will be open and honest in gracious ways, that you will listen more than you speak, that we will build bridges and not burn them where they're not necessary. Maybe that we'll mend bridges through great conversation. That's my prayer for you. And in the process, may we be amazing peacemakers. Blessed are the peacemakers, the bridge builders, people that are drawing people together, not pushing everyone away. Amen?